Are you a real estate investor looking to sharpen your skills or a newbie looking to become one? You're in the right place. Welcome to Where Should I Invest? Real Estate Investing in Canada with your host, Sarah Larby.
Today's guest is Nam Phung, and I want to talk a little bit about Nam because he is able to really talk about some of the things that I didn't even think were even possible. And that is investing in Toronto, even at this point in time. And, he's still investing in Toronto. And I know Toronto is a very expensive market, but he's still making it work for him. Again, just a different way to strategize. It's not going to be for everybody, but it is really interesting to hear how he's doing it and how he has done it for the last 13 years. A little bit about Nam. He actually arrived to Canada from a refugee camp in 1987. He started high school here with barely any English language knowledge, and he also worked part-time to support himself in high school and also in university. And his formal education includes a degree from York and a major in accounting. And he's worked as a senior accountant and financial analyst throughout his career, in addition to investing in real estate, which he has done so for 13 years. And his strategy, so he acquires one property at a time, primarily downtown Toronto. So really interesting. He manages the construction, the trades, handles the ongoing management, maintenance. He really does it all in addition to his career. And, he says that he's built the relationships with the suppliers and the trades and his team, and that's a huge piece of how he's been successful so far. And he also holds a real estate license with Keller Williams in Mississauga. And he's created a $15 million portfolio through investing in real estate. And, he's just looking to share his knowledge, his information, help people achieve their goals as well. And so, guys, I know that, it's hard to get cash flow in these expensive areas. And so he has a different strategy, and it might not be for everybody, but it is super interesting. And the goal of my show and the goal of this show here is for you guys to just hear about all the different types of people that are doing different types of strategies to really help guide you to making a choice of what's the best option for you. Some options might work and some might not, but ultimately, knowledge is power and action is key. So on that note, let's get Nam on the show. Welcome to the show, Nam. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks.
Good. Excellent. I'm super excited to have you here today. Find out all about you, your strategy, and all the insights and tips that you have to share. So let's get started by just going through a little bit about your background and what, if you can tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Basically, I started with an accountant in a 9-to-5 job. Never been happy with myself and always in need of cash and money. So I thought it must be a different way how I can have money and retirement early. So I started with real estate, which that was hard for me in the beginning because I just basically, make a lot of mistakes. But I think that the mistake make me become better investor. So I started buying really crappy area and that's, attract a lot of bad tenant. But then I realized that I moved to the better area, be more expensive, but I have a better tenant and I grow from that. So basically that's what I've done.
Okay. Now, are you a buy and hold investor? What kind of investing do you do?
Okay. I'm a buy and hold. I invest in major city, like sub-pocket of city of Toronto, like a high-end pocket, usually in High Park, Christie Pitt, the Annex. I stray away. I'm realize I want to stay away from the bad pocket. I know it sounds like really expensive to go to those areas, but the cap rate was right. Return on investment great, and appreciation is amazing. And I have the best tenant ever. So that's my strategy. I buy and hold, refinance, and keep buying more.
Okay. Now, are these single family properties, multifamily properties?
They are duplex, triplexes, and fourplex. I try to get up max fourplex because of the financing. Mm-hmm. You got a fifplex become commercial, so I stay away from commercial side.
Okay. And now what does your portfolio consist of today? How many, doors?
I got a dozen of rental property in downtown Toronto. And I got one apartment building of 11 units with urgent purchase.
Okay. All right, good. So a lot of new investors are probably wondering, Toronto, it's expensive. How are you doing it? How are you getting the financing to acquire all these properties?
Well, okay. So I started many years ago. It's not going to be overnight. So to be honest with you, it's been a process. So I started with 13 years ago, I buy one property at a time. So we were working at that time and my wife was working. So we both have a great employments. So the bank would treat it wonderful. So we bought one property and it was basically barely break even. But then, I leave at is and rent at is. So there's no really cash flow in it. But after a few years, we refinance and buy another one. And believe me, in the expensive area, the rent also expensive. So my formula very basic. Make sure that the cap rate was right. I know cap rate is big. People talk about commercial, but in residential, you still can use the same concept.
Okay.
Right? So that's my not really a secret, but you have to buy with a positive capital and move on to the next one.
Okay. So you started this 13 years ago and you're still acquiring properties right now.
Yes.
What's an example of, one of the last deals you bought? Like how much did it cost? What does the cap rate look like? What does the cash flow look like?
So basically when I buy the property in Toronto right now, there's no cap rate. You have to make your own cap rate. So basically that you have to be creative. So what I've done now, because the price of real estate has been way, way, way higher than 13 years ago, but they're also the rent. The rent always double than 13 years ago. So the ratio will make it work. So I buy really good area, but a run down property. So we put value add to the property. So using a major renovation, and then we create 3 units. And then, so example, I will give you about just recently we bought the property $1.1 million in Christian Bloor. We put in 200,000 renovation, and the rent is main floor 2450, upper 2500, basement is 1800. So the workout is more than 5% cap. That's more than enough to pay for the financing cost of the property.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So that's really interesting. So are you financing these by yourself? Are you working with joint venture partners or money partners?
Yeah, actually I work with a partner, but my portfolio is basically my own. So I basically, this is for the extra fun thing. I won't be able to get more money from the bank. That's why I bought an apartment building, because in commercial are different criteria of lending, right? So, but I could do joint venture with some couple partners. Mm-hmm. It's getting tougher. I agree with you, but you still can do it, and it still makes sense in Toronto. A lot of people stay away from the expensive real estate. I love that expensive real estate.
That's good. That's good. So you're essentially doing the BRRRR, which is my favorite strategy.
Exactly.
In a much more expensive market, I guess, than yes. Where I am. And yes. I actually grew up originally in Bloor West Village and near High.
Oh yeah, perfect. That's exactly right. You know how it is, right? You have an amazing tenant there, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you're BRRRRing, so you're doing some renovations. Are you taking for example, a single family property and then converting it into a triplex?
Usually in Toronto, they have something called non-conformance, which means that it's a grandparents. So what you do, you can easily convert into a duplex, and then you can get a permit for a third unit with the basement. So that's what we converted into a legal duplex and then add in the basement apartment.
Yeah, I guess that's what you kind of have to do at this point in time with the property values in Toronto being so high. You're not going to make it work with a single family, so you've got to figure out ways.
Absolutely, absolutely. In Toronto, single family home doesn't work.
Yeah,
but fortunately, I think that the rental market in Toronto is crazy, so you keep up with the value that you pay for. So it worked out fantastically fine. Yes.
Okay. All right. And you mentioned, obviously the financing, gets harder and harder as you get more, and then you were going to commercial. And I think that's interesting because the financing is different when you go from residential to commercial.
Exactly.
Rather than looking at the person that's borrowing, they're actually looking at the deal first. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
It's my first deal in commercial property, so I kind of still learning. But what I think is that they don't look at you personally; they look at the building itself. So I give you an example. That building, when we bought it, it was 4% cap, 4.5%. We got the owner vendor to take back the BTD, and he gave us like 4%, 4.5% interest. And when we take possession of the property, the 4 units were vacant. And we were able to come in, renovate it, have increased the capital, 3,000 extra with that 4 unit. It's just like the rent was so low, and he'd been there for about 30 years. He's the owner. He lived there. He created the property, so he doesn't care about the capital. That's what we see opportunity. So my goal is that in the next 2 years we're gonna increase the capital. So we're probably going to work an extra $2 million extra based on the capital that we created.
Okay.
So yeah, but the financing part, like I mentioned to you, was it was different. It's based on the building itself. It's not what your personal income in this case. Yes.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, how and where are you finding these properties? Are they on MLS, or are you connecting with people off market?
Yeah. So there's majority I purchased on MLS, and people surprised that, does it make sense to buy an MLS? But the way I see it, you have to be an expert in the area to recognize the potential. So for me, I studied the street, I studied the rental, I know the renovation cost, I know the value of the property. If you know all those ingredients, the profits are very easy to see, and it become normal. You see opportunity everywhere, and that, I'm sure that you will see the same thing in your area. So you just have to be an expert in where you're about to invest, and basically, and opportunity will pop up to you, whether it's an MLS or whether it's a private deal. So that's how I buy good deals.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So as a new investor, somebody that wants to get into the Toronto market, what are some things that you would recommend that they look at before going ahead and investing?
I think they have to understand the locations. They have to understand the renovation, and they have to understand the rental market in that particular area. Because Toronto is like one street different, could mean different in value or different rental. Toronto is very dynamic. It's very have a lot of soft market. So when you say Toronto, probably can go to $1.8, $2 billion to $700,000. So it's the big wide range of price. So you have to understand where you're about to invest and know the value, the rental, and the rental market. And if you know all these variables, the profits are very easy to be seen, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, what about when you're renovating? Are you doing, because obviously you're in some trendier, higher end areas that's probably the tenants want some little higher end finishes or different things like that. Do you take that into consideration as you're doing the renovation?
Yes. So I usually put a granite countertop, nice hardwood floor, custom kitchen, but I'm not going to spend a whole lot of money doing that. We basically do for the last 10 years, and we know the contractor, and the supplier. So to us, it's like getting the kitchen from a custom kitchen almost the same price of the IKEA. So that's how we work out a really good price. And on the appliances, I get a supplier that treat me like a builder. So as long as you go and the longer you do it, you establish a relationship with suppliers and contractors. It makes your life a lot easier, right? So it's not easy to begin with, but it gets easier, right? So.
Absolutely. Now, when you're buying these properties, obviously you want the good location, but is there other things that you look for, like proximity to the subway?
Yes. That's a good question. Actually, all my property next to the subway. It's like 5-minute walk max. The reason subway, because you know how expensive to go park a car in downtown. The majority of my tenants are working downtown Toronto, and to them, the subway or next to the subway is gold. They can save like $500 or $600 a month by basically leave the car in the garage or by taking the subway, and that's the successful. And again, the subway where all the business there, and that's why usually on Yonge Street or Bloor Street or University Subway, that's where most business are. And the young people, they love to take a subway to work, want to go to their favorite restaurant, and that's why they love those areas, and that's why they will be paid higher than other areas. And you get usually top A AAA tenants in those areas.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, do you have any special tenant screening to find those awesome A+ tenants? Do you?
Yes. I do credit report, letter of employment, go to their reference. And, you know, if you do this many, many years, you can be able to tell them right away whether they're good or bad, and by just interview them or talk to them. You figure it out very quickly, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just from experience and knowledge, and that will help me a lot.
Great. Now, you've been doing this for how long now?
13 years.
13 years. So you probably learned a lot of lessons, made lots of mistakes, learned along the way. Yes. What are some of the things that you learned along the way that you can share with, you know, the listeners for us to not make the same mistakes, as an example?
Don't be cheap as an investor. Okay, buy value. Don't buy because of price. This is my lesson. Took me a while to figure that out, but yeah, that's my biggest lesson that I learned.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Good. Any other tips that you can share with us?
I think another tip would be, if you, like I say, if you want to invest somewhere that new, take your time to research about the market, know the people, know the local people who can help you, because this is teamwork. It's not an individual achievement. So I think you have to do it up to team, and it's critical to do this. I can be really good at Toronto, but if I go to your area, I will start from scratch again, right? So I have to do the same process like everything else to be successful in that particular area. Yes.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, it's really inspiring to see. You know, you've been doing this. You've been growing your portfolio. You know, what's next? You know, things are more and more expensive. Are you?
Yes, I think that I spoke with you and just recently purchased a cottage. So we're gonna Air BnB and use the equity to open the rental, you know, and I just pay for the cottage, right? And then you enjoy, you know, basically the way I figured out is that you just rent 60 days of the year, and you can enjoy the rest of the cottage for free, right? That's my formula. And I probably go more into apartment building in Toronto. You know, where we just started is money, which is scarce, but now you have equity, you build up your team, go to the bigger project. I think it makes more sense. And again, you know, you can go triplex, duplex, max, maybe 8 or 9, then you get stuck. And then, you know, in order to go forward, you have to think of something else. Partner with someone. In my case, I prefer to build bigger and have full control versus have a partner and you have to, you know. But that's me anyway. There's a lot of people, they work well with their partners, you know, so that's fine with them. But for me, I prefer my own and build my own portfolio. So I think going forward, I'm going to probably sell a couple of my triplex and duplexes and then go to a bigger scale when I'm apartment building.
Okay, so great. So use some of that equity to be able to scale up and
Absolutely.
Buy bigger.
Yes.
So I really truly believe that, you know, real estate is awesome, and, you know, I love real estate, but it's not about the real estate, right? It's about what it brings to you and your lifestyle. And you mentioned the cottage, which is great. You know, why are you in the real estate game? What's the reason?
I think it's my passion, basically. I can sit in my building and sit there for hours, look at my building, change the cash flow without getting tired of it. You know, it's people calling me 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning and tell me they have trouble with this and that. I'm always there for them because this is how much you show that you love what you do. I think if you have that attitude, you're going to be very successful in whatever you do, not only real estate, but anything that you want to do in life. So
right.
This is my passion about real estate. I can talk to you hours about real estate. It's not just making, you know, equities and make your family better, life better, but it's about something else I couldn't explain. Like I was almost like, I think I mentioned to you, I was 20 retired 2 years ago and travel around the world. But then I thought that, you know what, it doesn't work on me. There's something else I'm missing. It's not about the money, not about sitting on the beach all day. It's about something else. And I realized something else is buy more real estate.
Oh.
And that's make me happy when I get into new projects or buy more properties. It's not about the money anymore. When you start to think about money, but when you know, be there and success what you've done. And I think that's not about the money anymore. It's about your passion. It's about what you really love. I really love to do that real estate.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got a reason why they're doing it. I mean, for me, it's about the freedom, the lifestyle, being able to give back. You know, I like, yeah, real estate's great. And yes, it's going to give you the money, but like, it's beyond, to me, it's beyond that, right? It's what
Exactly.
you could accomplish with the rest of your life, being able to have that freedom as an example and what,
You know,
Mhm.
you know what make, I just thought something, what made me really happy is when I bought a rental property and renovated it, cash flows it, the tenant come to me with a big smile and give me the checks and told me that, thank you so much, Nam, that you gave me a nice place to live. To me, I feel $1 million because you'll be able to create value. Somebody willing to have a big smile and give you the checks versus you go to work, they give you a check, but they don't have a big smile on their face, on their face. So it's kind of totally opposite. And that's just really make me feel good. And after that, you call the bank and you refinance it. The value have been more than a couple $100,000. That's where you originally invest. So that's a truly return, and you'll be able to help people with the nicest place they can stay. And to me, the best feeling ever.
Absolutely. Now, Nam, do you have friends and family that are also in real estate like you?
I have a lot of friends, and I taught them to, like, people like accountant that's worked with me before, and I taught them the business, and they're very successful as well. Just basically share with them the same concept. Just how I done it. I show exactly what I did, and they just follow what I done. And some of them own a couple properties, some of them own 6, 7, or 8 now. They're doing very well for themselves.
Okay, excellent. Good. Any other tips before we get into the lightning round that you would like to share with what you've been accomplishing and looking back at it that you can share with your listeners?
I think my tip is basically you have to love what you do. Basically, if you don't like real estate and you just think real estate because of money, you cannot go too far. Maybe max a couple property and that's it. Because you're going to have a barrier with tenant issue with the bank, all kind of problems you can run into. And if you think that this is it and you don't have a passion over it, you think that's the end of your career. But if you do have passion, you can go over it, you can go under it, you can go around it, and you always have multiple strategies to go above and to achieve your desire. And I think that's what it is. You must love what you do.
There you go. Awesome. Great. So the next part of our podcast is our lightning round. So I'm going to ask you a series of 5 questions and you're going to answer with the first answer that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So question number 1, Nam, what is your favorite real estate investing book ever?
Mine would be Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's not a real estate investment book, but very similar to that. Truly give me very inspired about money.
Okay. Excellent. Number 2, I don't know if you listen to podcasts, but everyone gets the same questions. What is your favorite podcast?
I never listened to one, to be honest with you. It's the first time I do this. I'm very private. I don't go and tell people what I do, only friend and family member. So I don't usually go out to clubs or member and share my opinion or idea or how I done it. Very rare. So I don't listen to any folk.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
No, that's okay. Thank you for sharing with us. We really appreciate it. Number 3, what is your favorite pastime? What do you do for fun if it's not real estate?
I like fishing, tennis, sport. I gotta be honest with you now. I think I enjoy life more than ever because to me I have time, and to me it's everything. So I enjoy outdoor fishing and of course the cottage. So that's basically And watching my kid growing up, it was wonderful life. I think
that's great. Time is more valuable than money for sure because you can make more money, you just cannot make more time.
Yeah, I always tell myself that I need 3 things in life. I'm very greedy, but I need time, money, and health. That's all I need in life.
Absolutely. So question number 4, if you lost all your money, hopefully that doesn't happen, and your assets tomorrow, how would you start again?
Same thing, real estate. And I can do it even faster than it used to be. So I can create back much faster, for sure. Because the knowledge is there. Money can come and go, but the knowledge, it can go very easy. It stay with you for the rest of your life.
That's right. Great. Question number 5. If somebody has $50,000 and they want to get started, how would you recommend they spend it?
I think they should recommend, I would recommend them, on education, maybe buy some books, read some books, get some knowledge, and because 50,000 doesn't get much. You cannot do much today, but just I think it's for education purpose. I think it makes sense, and just invest in something else. So invest in yourself. I think that's what I would put in that way. So yeah, buy a lot of books, read in books, and then we'll see. We'll see some magical thing will happen.
Great advice. So Nam, where can listeners find you if they wanted to reach out and know more about you?
They can send me an email as nam, N-A-M, Phung at simpatico.ca. So namphung at simpatico.ca.
Okay. And any final words of advice or a last tip that you would like to let the listeners know?
I guess be persistent. During my career investing, they're always up and down. There's always a wall in front of you. But I think the wall there for a reason. It tells you how much you really want it. That happened to you. Meaning that the wall there to see how much you really want, what your objection up to your goal is. That's what I put that way. So if you just see the wall, you back out, and you didn't want your wealth. You didn't want that much. You just illusion. You know what I mean? So that's how I put it that way. The wall there for a reason. It just tells how much you really want, or you really want to be a success.
There you go. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for that great tip. And thank you for being on Where Should I Invest? Feel free to come out to the right club if ever you're in the Burlington area. And guys,
yes.
Shout out to Nam. I mean, this guy is killing it in Toronto, doing awesome. And I guess you're willing to share lots of information. So why not send lots of emails and connect? So thank you, Nam, for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to Where Should I Invest with your host, Sarah Larby. Make sure to listen in next time. We'll catch you on the next episode of Where Should I Invest?